I keep hearing that many people believe that the best investments are sold by large investment houses. But how many people do you know who got rich in the stock market? I thought so. Jason Hartman has helped thousands of people create real wealth with real estate. He has over 20 years experience, and his company provides the complete solution for real estate investors. Isn't it time you acquired property in diverse, growing markets nationwide for as little as $15,000 down? Don't let inflation destroy the value of your savings, stocks, or bonds. Real estate is the one investment that allows you to profit from inflation. For cash flow and capital appreciation, there's nothing else like it. Make your money work as hard as you do by building an income property empire. Go to www.jasonhartman.com and tell him Kerry sent you. You're listening to the FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com. I'm Kerry Lutz on 1590 WPSL, and it's time for another Triple Lutz Report. This is episode 248. The date is March 21st, 2013. So what's happening in Cyprus? Well, it's time for an update. You probably heard that the parliament unanimously rejected the IMF ECB German bailout plan. And if you believe Jim Sinclair, and I do to some extent, there's much more dirty Russian money in those banks than anyone cares to admit, as much as $500 billion to $1 trillion, according to Jim. In fact, when you go back in history, the Cyprus banking system was actually created and developed as an outlet, a place to invest Russian mafia, Russian oligarch, and leaders' ill-begotten gains, a place to stash their questionably obtained funds. Why should this matter to you? After all, Cyprus is a tiny speck of an island in the middle of the Mediterranean, and Ben Bernank, head of the U.S. Federal Reserve, said that American banks are fine and won't be affected by the chaos breaking out in Cyprus. And believe it or not, I believe that that statement is 100% true. American banks, at least in terms of bank runs and the ability to stay open, will not be affected by the Cyprus disorder because the Bernank has already said he will drop money from helicopters and dump it on the streets. And he already has pretty much used 747s to drop money to the nation's insolvent banks. So he's going to do this if necessary. In other words, the Fed will print every dollar necessary for a bank to pay off its panicked depositors in the U.S. They're going to do it, no question. So that should make you feel much more confident. It sure does it for me, I'll tell you that. In the short run, anyway. It probably will hold off bank runs in the U.S. as the only time you're really going to wait online to get your money, other than payday, is if you believe that you can't get your money. And as long as you believe you'll be able to get your money, you'll never join a bank run. It's all about confidence. And the U.S. government has done an admirable job of taking over failed banks. They take all the bad loans in a bank that they're seizing and they sell them off or they put them in their portfolio, whatever they do. And then they give the remnants of the bad bank, all their branches, they give them to a solvent bank or a too big to fail bank. And one day you go to sleep on Friday and you're the XYZ bank that is bankrupt. You wake up on Monday night and you go to the corner and the XYZ bank is now the ABC bank, and all of your accounts, you never lost access to them. It's seamless transition. And this keeps people believing that the banks are sound, even though fractional reserve banking is bankrupt by its very nature, because if everybody in a fractional reserve bank wanted their money, the bank could never pay it. That's why you need a lender of last resort, a Federal Reserve, to ensure that no matter how many people want their money, they're able to get it. So you don't have to worry about bank runs, at least at the present time. And unfortunately, And look, there's another thing too. Most money held in banks now is digital currency, and it's held by large corporations. What is a large corporation like Apple going to do when it believes that the banks are going to fail? Make a multi-billion-dollar cash withdrawal in $100 bills? It can't be done. All they can do is transfer it from one bank to another, hopefully more sound institution. And that's really all that the big depositors can do. So they're kind of stuck. And one thing that we're not exempt from, we're not immune from in the U.S. is confiscation of bank accounts, of money in the bank if the government decides it needs to levy a wealth tax like they attempted to do in Cyprus. And whether it's savings, checking accounts, IRAs, 401ks, they can do it if they choose that that's what they want to do. And this type of action in and of itself is a whole nother form of confidence busting. But more on that later. So look, Cyprus had a 100,000 euro insurance guarantee on all deposits held in their banks, both from the Cypriot government and the ECB. And now they've both reneged on those guarantees. And interestingly enough, their efforts to renege, their attempts at reneging on the guarantee have been repudiated by the people through their elected parliament. The Cypriot parliament voted on the bailout plan, or the bail-in plan, as some called it, and it was 100% defeated by parliament, not one vote in favor of it. So the ECB is untested in dealing with bank runs, unlike the FDIC and the Fed. And now they've deliberately undermined their ability to deal with banking shutdowns. And this bodes extremely ill for the entire European banking system. There's going to be a flood of money coming to the U.S. as a result of this, if it hasn't already. Perhaps it's a good thing. Before banking insurance, you know what you had to do? You had to have confidence that your bank was properly managed. And this meant that you cared where they loaned their money and you cared about their solvency. Now all that's changed. As long as you see the sticker on the window, the FDIC sticker that says that your account's guaranteed to up to $250,000 now, and for some types of accounts, unlimited guarantee for what they call daily transactional accounts, which were bank accounts of large corporations that could contain hundreds of millions, if not billions. As long as you see that sticker, you're fine. And the people at Mises.org have said a bank run is your best friend. It keeps banks honest and solvent. But no more in the age of government guaranteeing everything. So think about that. What's happening in Europe will affect you in ways that you will never believe or could never have thought possible. It will lead to higher gold and silver prices. It will lead to a loss of confidence in all currencies, and it will eventually lead back to precious metal backing for currencies. So why not back your currency now? I mean, if it is me, I would go over to regalassets.com or any other bullion dealer that you have confidence in, and I would start becoming my own central bank now. Become your own central bank. Don't be dependent upon the value of currency issued by fraudulent central banks. What's the point? Precious metals are a far more effective insurance policy than any, and I mean any, government guarantee. Yes, the market price of your holdings for the time being they're going to fluctuate, and you can't help that as long as the metals are demonetized and traded as commodities rather than money. But having some precious metals hidden away in a safe place will help you sleep at night. Really, don't you want to be ahead of the pack? You should start your precious metals insurance policy today. And for me, I like Tyler Gallagher at Regal Assets. He's honest, he's candid, he's extremely forthright, and very, very knowledgeable. But if you don't want to go to Regal, go someplace else. Go to your local coin shop, wherever, and just start doing it now. You really can't afford to wait. You've got to do this. And just like I tell you to go to PrepareWise to get your emergency preparedness food, I want you to go get some gold now. I like Tyler Gallagher at Regal Assets, personal friend, honest. I believe in the guy. He really runs a first-rate operation. You can track where your metal is at any given time, and he makes a extreme effort to get your metal shipped out in less than a week. You'll know immediately when it's shipped. You get an email, all right? You'll know when it gets to the post office. You'll know when it gets to your door, right? Just go set up your precious metals insurance policy today if you haven't already done it. Can't emphasize it enough. This has been another Triple Lutz Report. I'm Kerry Lutz, signing off. When it comes to buying physical gold and silver, Regal Assets is the place to go. Did you know that you can use your existing retirement plan to invest in precious metals and it's 100% tax-free with Regal Assets? I hope you're seriously thinking about using precious metals in your retirement plan to help you beat inflation. It's so simple to use your existing IRA or old 401k to set up your precious metals retirement plan. Request your free investment kit today. It's so helpful and informative that it was recently featured in Forbes and Smart Money Wall Street Journal magazines. Get the latest info by calling toll-free 855-678-6620. That's 855-678-6620. Or visit regalassets.com and use the code LUTZ. You'll save the setup fees and a whole lot more at regalassets.com.